yokai! The wait is over! It's time to get cracking and show these humans who's boss! We'll show them we're not squidding. This is our chance to occupy the human realm. Okay, so I'm still working on my puns. If any of you have any better ideas how to express our anger to the humans, just let me know. But now our time has come!
That's right, it's another Yokai Watch Smash moveset. Last time I did Gargoyles, and this time we're doing the final boss of Yokai Watch 1, Chairman Squidilius McKraken. I think it'd work well in Smash. He always has the most out of the Yokai Watch final bosses. He appears in most games as well, even if not as a boss. Even though I haven't played 4, I know McKraken is befriendable in that game, but it's quite hard to find stuff about his moves and stuff, so don't expect much from 4. I just want to say again that I'm really not good at Smash. Some of these moves might not work as well as I think. Alright, let's start by talking about the main gimmick. Now, as you may know, McKraken has 2 forms. Now, debating on how to include the second form, which I'll be referring to as McKraken 2. Perhaps it could just be transforming for a few moves, or just a final smash, but I managed to come up with a whole other moveset for the second form. So, McKraken will switch forms using down special like Pokemon Trainer and Pyra and Mithra. As for stats, they'd both be heavies, with McKraken 2 of course being heavier, they'd both have 2 jumped, with McKraken 2 as being lower, and they'd also both be relatively slow, with McKraken 2 being slower. For McKraken 1's jab, it would be this triple slap move from 4, and McKraken 2 would just be a triple tentacle slap like the basic attack he does in game. The dash attacks, McKraken 1 could use his evil right hand, though it wouldn't have any effects like it does in the original game, and 2 could use your Calamari, a fire-based move in the original where he launches himself forward, works perfectly for a dash attack. 1's forward tilt would be a simple laser squantum with much shorter range, and 2 has a tentacle attack using both tentacles. Time to build the crappy jongs again. For up tilt, McKraken 1 would simply attack upward with his tentacles, and McKraken 2 could do an upwards headbutt with his hand-like things pushing him up. The down tilt would have the first form attack forward with his tentacles while crouching, the second form would similarly poke in front with a tentacle. McKraken 1's neutral air would have him stretch out his tentacles in all directions, and 2 could use the visual effect of white impact to deal damage in all directions, with no additional effect unlike the original. Forward air would have 1 use ink blot to speed projectiles, and 2 would use a squid ink attack, also launching ink projectiles forward. 1's ink is black, whereas 2's is white. McKraken 1 could do a headbutt with his pointy hat for the up air, and the second form would hit upwards with both tentacles. The back air for both could just have them hit backwards with their tentacles. Finally, the down air would have 1 swipe his hands downwards like the attack Scorched Earth, and if he's close enough to the ground, fire will emerge, but of course won't damage McKraken. And 2 would kick downward with the hand-lag things. The side smashes, McKraken 1 would use Tentacle Trample. Since there's obviously no tentacles in the background this time, I'd imagine the tentacle to come out the ground and hit the foe in front of McKraken. As for 2, it's of course Tentadrill, or Tandrill as it's called in Blasters, having him open up his other mouth and 3 drills coming out. By up smash, 1 would just thrust both hands upward with the flame thing he has in his hands in that one cutscene. McKraken 2 would use his ice attack from Psychic Blaster, summoning ice in front of him that goes straight upwards. Down smash has the first form using a mini version of Squankly Blast as seen in Yokai Watch 1, where he charges up above him and the laser goes from right to left. The second form uses Incredible Shock, summoning Lightning to hit both sides of him. Although the grabs and throws one form at a time, starting with the first. He would grab with his evil right hand and pummel with his tentacles. The forward throw would have him use Element Ball in front with a random element launching the foe forward, like what he did with Gargoyles. Also like Gargoyles, the different techniques would be a purely visual change. The up throw would be like the up smash where he thrusts his hand upwards with flame things launching the foe upwards. The back throw would have him simply throw the foe backwards, and the down throw could have him shoot guided squishale downward to stun the foe. Now for McKraken 2, he grabs the tentacles and pummels by headbutting. His throws would have him summon various white yokai, seeing as I've not used them yet and I couldn't really think of anything else since I feel 2 has less to go off than 1. He would summon white reunite for the forward throw, stabbing in front of him to launch the foe upwards. The up throw could have white Comain summon a big flame to launch the foe upwards. The back throw would have white Bruff swing his bat backwards to send the foe flying backwards. Finally, the down throw would have white Impasse spawn there, dropping onto the foe and burying them. McKraken 1's neutral special would be Squid Ink. Just realizing they both have an attack called Squid Ink. Now, in the original, this is an Spirit that decreases speed, but I've changed things a little here that incorporates an already existing mechanic. McKraken would spew ink in front of him, and completely cover the enemy in ink. This would have the same effect as Inkling's ink, where they would take more damage, essentially decreasing defense like a negative in Spirit. This type would probably do little to no damage outside of covering the foe in ink. Also, the forward air ink blocks would also cover the foe a little, just to remain consistent. 2's Squid Ink though would still just damage it, it's a different colour, so it's fine if it works differently. Speaking of, 2's neutral special would also be an in-spirit, the infamous Feeling Dizzy, the Confusion in-spirit, where McKraken 2 would spin his eyes with a spiral effect coming out in front of him. The animation will last about how long it does in the original, and if the foe is within the hitbox by the end of the animation, they gain the mushroom effect temporarily. Thankfully, the side specials are more simple. First form would use Great Left Hand, dealing drain damage, damaging the foe and healing himself. Second form would use Turbo Tendril, charging forward with his tentacles, dealing quite a bit of damage. The up special for 1 would be like a tether recovery, extending a tentacle upward to potentially grab onto a ledge like Ivysaur Bylethar Joker. 2 would use 10 Typhoon. On the ground it summons a 10 Typhoon in front of him. In the air he could be inside the 10 Typhoon, lifting him up. Works similarly to how I did Gargoyle's up special. The down special allows McKraken to change forms, using the animation from when a yokai teleports away. For the final smash, you would pull out the Kraken truck and run the opponent. Okay, in all seriousness, nothing too special for the final smash. Just Squangry Blast or Pulse will end as a regular beam final smash. Squangry Blast could be moved quicker and Pulse will end has a bigger hitbox. For the up taunt, McKraken 1 could do an evil laugh, and 2 could do the squeaky hee animation. Side taunt will have them both do the animations where they say squid. Blaster's cutscene. McKraken 1 would do the animation from the start of his Blaster's fight for the down taunt. McKraken 2 would do the animation when he's at half HP and changing colours, though of course he won't actually change colour here. The first victory animation for 1 could have him sit on his throne surrounded by white yokai like that one cutscene. The second could be the crack animation from the Blaster's cutscene. The third could have him sit down to eat some sukiyaki to reference Jokeouch 3 where he said he'll try some from Dame Deertime's restaurant. The second form, the first could be like the cutscene in Blasters where he changes forms. The second could have Merkel summon him with dark energy, then do squeaky hee. The final could maybe have him inspiriting and defeating some yokai, perhaps Jibanya, Koma-san and Tattletale as all were friends from the first game. As for the victory theme, it would be the end of the first part of Vs McKraken. Now, these costumes I made aren't very good, but they are more just to show what the colours would be based off rather than what they actually look like. After the default appearance, Zagonaut will be based on the second form's secondary colours when he reaches half HP. The third will be based on Squisker, the recolor of McKraken to find the Infinite Inferno. Similarly, Squisker also has a secondary colour scheme when he reaches half HP, which would be the fourth alt. Fifth will be one based on Slimemander, the first boss and one who works for McKraken. Sixth is one based on Dame Deadtime and Dame Demona, the final boss of Jokeouch 2. Seventh is one based on the various white yokai under McKraken's command. I thought this would be too similar to regular McKraken, but actually it works pretty well. Finally, it would be an alternate costume, at least for the first form. It would be the costume from Puni Puni from the 10th anniversary, where his plans were successful, and the second form would just have colours based on this. If he was added a DLC character and came with a stage, it would have to be the Yokai World, of course. It could start at the entrance and take you to different gates and areas such as Hungry Pass, and maybe even have the white yokai as stage hazards. It would of course end at Lord's Gate and then restart by going into the Maripool. For classic mode, I call it Final Boss Showdown. Basically, you would fight characters representing the final boss of the Jokeouch games. Now, I haven't played half these games yet, so I have no idea what would be good to represent these, so let me know in the comments how you do them. First we have Bayonetta, representing Dame Deadtime. I really couldn't think of anything better, both can control time I guess. Perhaps we also have Black Kirby, Black Mewtwo and Dark Youngling to represent Schemer, Lurcher and Flicker. Not sure which stage could represent Old Springdale or the Ironworks though. Next game release was Sangokshi, which I know very little about. No clue could represent Norica Sorica. Pit and Dark Pit seem like they could perhaps individually represent Norica and Sorica, but I have no idea, so let me know in the comments. Next we have Big Grey DD to represent the final boss of Blasters, Wisped Cream, with small grey Kirbys representing Cream Puffs. The stage would be 4-side, to reference the fact you fight him in the city at night. From Mario Kart 3 we have Mario representing Ghoulfather. Both are Italian and have similar colour schemes. He to be accompanied by 3 ghoulies. Best I could come up with is Green Banjo due to the similar colours. The stage would be New Donk City to reference New Yokai City and Bada Bing Tower. Now is Busters 2, which I have played a bit of, but obviously still know nothing about the final boss. Perhaps Yellow K. Ruler's King and Desu, they look kinda similar. We're not done with the games that I've played. Don't know much about Overseer, but a big Red Eyes Meta Knight kinda looks like the first form. Finally is Y School Heroes, the game I know the least about. Couldn't even actually find who the final boss was, but I believe it's Dober. Pretty confident Dog Hunt works for this one. As for the classic mode boss, let's just go with Master Hand as the final boss of Smash 64. Well, I feel this video is long overdue since my last one. These are pretty fun to make, even if I feel this one doesn't work as well as Gargo's. To be honest, I feel like after making this, that the forms would probably work better as separate characters, like how Sheik and Zelda were originally one character but then became separate. Anyway, if you didn't see, we hit 5k, so I'm doing a community ranking of all the areas in Yokai Watch 1 to 3, so the link to that is in the description. I'll give you 1 week after this video is up before I close the forum, because I feel that there are people who may want to vote that haven't yet seen it, as the last couple of videos featuring it haven't been as popular. I also just finished Nyan's only on the Yokai Watch game, so those will be videos at some point, at least after the 5k special. As usual, like it if you like this and want to see more, and comment what you would change about this moveset. Shoutouts to members Tycoon Boat, Reactivism, Sandwich Metal, Opal Kitsune, King Slinky, Silver Samurai, Epic Alien, Angelo, Lenny Face, Drybones Hat Guy, Low Quality Sam, Common Wing, Untailed Goose Guy, Noble Samurai, JKNJ, KJB, C Pickle VR, Any Starfall, Pally X, Doodah, Francesco, Prolano 6, Peeps, Hazy Lane, Alec lives in Ohio, Bruno, Candid Clown, Baseman, PB&J, Geosage, Mika, NG, Glitch, Nightmare Selby, Leo Skrig, Dior, I'm sorry I probably said that wrong, and Ahmad. See you in the next one.